What's up guys, it's Andrew from Crisp Productions, and I got something. This is one of Apple's most controversial products, and no, not the iPhone 7, but a lot of people think of this as sweet or bitter. I'm talking about the MacBook Pro, the 15-inch with touch bar to be exact. In this review, I'm going to tell you if it's really worth living with all the sacrifices of a modern piece of tech. So guys, let's get into it. Okay, so let's start out with the body. This thing is a really sharp and sleek metal unibody design that looks like it's made in the Tesla car factory. The one I have here is the space gray model that to me looks stealth in all ways. Apple is not trying to make an immaculate polished device here. Instead, they are wanting an industrial exterior with sheer size and a simple boxy-ish design that in my opinion looks really good. Also, the screen on this thing is razor thin. It's a 4K IPS display that looks really amazing. The color this panel produces are really nice, and the contrast is really nice too. It gets relatively bright as well. The only downside of this is that the classic light-up Apple logo on the back does not light up anymore because of the new display technology. I would definitely consider buying this if you're going to stream a lot of content or color grade photos and videos, but the MacBook may be a better option for that. Around the screen there is the bezel, and the bezel is tiny. Now I'm not saying it has no bezel or anything, but these are pretty small bezels for a laptop. Above the bezel as well, the FaceTime HD camera. I say HD because it's 720p, the HD of 2010. This is certainly not a big deal because it's been this way for years, and to me it's not alarming. Don't expect any crispy conference calls on this though. A screen can be great, but what about the speakers? In my opinion, these won't let you down. The sound is full and clear, but I think they're a little heavy on the bass. If you're an audiophile, I'd recommend picking up a pair of Beats. Just kidding. Moving on, let's get to the peripherals. To start off, the trackpad on this thing is a monster. It's huge, I mean huge. It's hard to really show you how large it is on camera, but it's as large as an iPhone. I find that most Macs tend to have a really nice trackpad, and they are not buggy and are simple to use. A cool feature about this trackpad is that it uses a haptic engine, which is basically a motor inside that activates when you push down on the trackpad. This simulates a click, and even though to me it doesn't exactly feel like a click, it's pretty good at making the trackpad feel tactical. I personally would prefer to use a wireless mouse like the MX Anywhere 2 to use for video editing though. Above the trackpad is, well, you know, the keys. These keys make me feel at ease when I know the travel is low. that was really bad. But in other words, typing has never been a better experience for me. I find these keys to be so satisfying and tactical because of the butterfly switches inside. This switch is basically a really shallow version of the world-famous chiclet switches. These new keys allow for much quicker typing because of the lower latency times. I'm personally a huge fan of it. Now when I try to type on the old-style keys, it feels so deep and weird, almost like mechanical switches, even though they're membrane. Here's a test between the two. Moving on, at the very top of the keys is the touch bar. This is the key new feature Apple introduced to us in the 2016 MacBook Pro lineup. What this is a set of forever changing commands that are tailored to a specific app. For example, in the Notes app, there's a command bar that lists different text settings like boldness and underlining, even emojis. If these commands weren't at my fingertips, I would have to do multiple tasks just to change a simple setting. Super helpful. So here's the most controversial part of the video, USB-C ports. For a background check a long time ago, computers had many ports. Over the years, many people did not have a need for some of the ports, so these slowly washed away until there were some main ports, USB 3.0, HDMI, and an SD card reader. Then suddenly, Apple comes in with this new MacBook Pro, which features none of these, just a couple of USB-C ports. As a result of the lack of ports, you need to use dongles like this Titancraft one. This plugs into a USB-C port and acts as a set of various ports. For now, this is the way it's going to be. But for people in the near future, no one will be living the dongle life. Now speaking of future, this thing's really a product of the future. It's got great looks, great specs, but it does have some compromises, like the lack of USB. This has HDMI, USB, and even MagSafe. Tell me which one you get in the comments below. Anyway, thanks for watching. Peace!